Hello Internet, my name is Lave, and this week, courtesy of Odeon's Screen Unseen, I saw a film which completely wasn't on my radar. It's a little romantic comedy called The Big Sick, which is directed by Michael Showalter and is written by Emily Gordon and Kumail Nanjiani, who also stars as himself, Kumail. Kumail has emigrated to the United States from Pakistan with his family, who want him to grow up and be a traditional Muslim and marry a Pakistani girl and get a decent job as a doctor or a lawyer. Unfortunately for them, Kumail is an aspiring and talented stand-up comedian and wannabe actor who meets and falls in love with an American girl called Emily, who he starts to date in secret. So this being a Judd Apatow production, the first act very much plays out as you would expect. It's very much like his other films where a reasonably young couple meet and fall in love. Along the way there's a few laughs as they're trying to figure out if their relationship can go any further because of their cultural differences. But then the film takes a different direction, and this is in the trailer, so I don't feel guilty about saying this, because Emily all of a sudden comes down with an illness and is put into a medically induced coma, and it forces Kumail to spend time with her parents, played by Romano and Holly Hunter, who are brilliant in this film. Obviously there's two distinct concepts going on. Both I feel like I've seen a million times before. I got vibes of Coming to America mixed in with While You Were Sleeping, but the film merges those concepts together really well. It never feels like they're at odds with each other. It plays out really well, maybe because it's all based on a true story. Again, that is in the trailer, so I don't feel guilty about spoiling that either. Maybe it's because the characters are all based on real life people, but there is a real sense of authenticity throughout this film, and honesty as well. For example, the parents, Ray Romano and Holly Hunter, could have easily come across as the stereotypical disapproving in-laws, when actually there's much more to them than that. There's real depth to them, and there's a whole host of other little characters which I really liked, which again felt very authentic, from all of his mates that he meets on the comedy circuit to all of the doctors. And as much as the focus of this film is on Kumail and Emily's relationship, I'd say it's more a focus on Kumail figuring out who he wants to be. As much as he loves his parents and the traditions, he doesn't really understand it, and the overall theme is that if you love someone, it doesn't really matter where you come from or what your cultural background is. And Kumail is really good in this film. I don't know this guy in real life. I don't know if he's a really good stand-up comedian, but he is terrific in this film. I really gravitated towards him because he loves films and he talks about X-Files, which I loved as well. And he's naturally funny. Sometimes his jokes are quite inappropriately timed, but he's always funny. And that's not to say that this film isn't heartfelt as well. There's some really dramatic, emotionally driven moments in it which really got to me. I particularly like a couple of moments where he goes to Emily's home with her parents and he's looking through her stuff, and it triggers certain memories, and you see that in little flashbacks. I thought that was a really nice touch. And there's another scene as well where he's in the middle of doing an act and he begins to break down because he's not sure if Emily's going to make it. It's really well acted. My only real criticism with this film is its overall length. It clocks in at about 2 hours. If it had been slightly less, at about an hour and 45 minutes, it would have been a perfect little romantic comedy. But in the third act, there were a couple of times where I was checking my watch thinking, come on, this needs to wrap up. But then when it did wrap up, I was still satisfied. So that's my thoughts on The Big Sick, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. Overall, The Big Sick is a genuinely funny and really charming and heartwarming film. I've got to give credit to Odeon's Screen Unseen because this really wasn't on my radar. With the summer blockbuster really kicking into gear now, and you've got Planet of the Apes and Spider-Man and Dunkirk imminently hitting cinemas, this is a perfect little alternative. It's a great date movie, actually. I believe this is due to be released on July the 28th, so if you can, check it out. It's really funny, really emotional in scenes. I really enjoyed it. So thanks very much for watching my review of The Big Sick. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give this video a like, and don't forget to share the lave. Done.